Hello and welcome to the Hungry Heracross. Saving the world is a tough job, so it's important for heroes to take a break every once in a while. Thankfully, across Skyloft, the surface, and the various islands in the sky, there are many places that Link can visit for a bit of fun. We're of course talking about the variety of minigames on offer in The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. There are actually 8 in this Zelda title, and in today's video, I'll be ranking each of them from worst to best. Along with my opinion on how good each minigame is, I'll give an overview of what the game entails, how to unlock it, and what rewards you get from completing it. So think of this video as both a ranking and a guide. 2 videos in one. But before we start talking minigames, if you're new here, I post videos every week where I rank, analyse, and create all things Zelda and Pokemon. So if you're a fan of either series, hit subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And whilst you're pressing buttons, why not leave this video a like? With all that out the way, we've got 8 minigames to rank, so let's jump to it. After defeating the Imprisoned for the first time and breaking the chandelier in the Lumpy Pumpkin, you get access to the Duet with Kena minigame. In it, you play your harp for the locals at the bar, living out your dream as a travelling musician. This sounds fantastic, until you remember that playing Skyward Sword's key instrument is simply moving your hand from left to right. Very uninspired, yet somehow more difficult than needed. The best thing about completing this minigame is getting a piece of heart, and once you've got that, there isn't really a need to play it again. Sure, you can get 50 rupees, but there's easier and more exciting ways to get such a minuscule amount of money. The Lumpy Pumpkin as a setting is quite nice, and I rate the characters that dwell there, but not enough to make me play the harp for a minute longer than required. Perhaps if we got to play actual notes, like we do on the N64 ocarinas, then maybe, just maybe, this wouldn't have been the worst minigame on the list. Clean Cut Challenge is the fun bamboo cutting game located on the aptly named Bamboo Island. For the cost of 10 rupees, you need to slice this massively long object as many times as possible before it falls to the ground. You can slice it in any angle you please, but the bamboo will fall in a certain direction after each cut. So, to get the high score, you need to swing your sword as fast as you can, whilst trying to prevent the log from just tipping over. I don't mind this minigame, but it's nothing special. It's fun to try and beat your high score, but the way the bamboo moves after being cut can get frustrating. There's an art to succeeding here, but you can get by with swinging your sword and hoping for the best, especially later in the game when you have an upgraded sword. The rewards here are rather meek compared to the rest of the minigames. Slicing 15 or more times nets you 30 rupees, a score of 20 is required for the regular treasures, and 28 cuts is needed for the rarer objects such as the Goddess Plume and the Golden Skull. This challenge is the first minigame you have access to, so it's helpful for gaining rare treasures to upgrade items. But after that, I don't find myself coming back to play this one. I've definitely had playthroughs where I just completely bypass this challenge altogether. It's not bad per se, just underwhelming compared to every other minigame that's either more enjoyable or offering better rewards. Thrill Digger is a Minesweeper-esque minigame located near the Bokoblin camp on Ilden Volcano. The concept is simple. You have a grid of diggable spots that contain either rupees, bombs, or rupees, which is the negative money. You get to keep digging and collecting as many rupees as you can until you hit a bomb. However, perfecting this game is not all that simple. Unfortunately, there's no way of guaranteeing collecting all the rupees without hitting a bomb. So yeah, there's an element of luck here. That said, there's also some educated guessing involved. For smaller rupees, there will be less bad spots surrounding them, whilst for the silver and gold rupees, most of the neighbouring holes will have a bomb. So after your first dig, you can take an educated guess on what each hole may have. If you play to the odds, Thrill Digger can be a great way of earning money, but I'm not the biggest fan of the luck element. I would have preferred a variation that was more similar to Minesweeper, that relied more on skill, but I can see how something like that could have been too easily abused to gain copious amounts of rupees so early in the game. I have this ahead of the clean cut challenge because it feels pretty good when you hit the large rupee or clear a board. As frustrating as getting blown up is, it's pretty thrilling. I also love Chubit, and his theme is an underrated hit. Dodo is an NPC that is all about having fun, and he runs a very interesting minigame known as Dodo's High Dive. Located on Fun Fun Island, this eccentric character launches you from a cannon at the cost of 10 rupees. You then need to glide back onto his spinning wheel whilst passing through rings and avoiding balloons that move at different speeds. You gain a certain amount of rupees for landing on a particular tile, with that amount multiplied depending on how you fared on the obstacles as you descended. A perfect run, which includes landing on the blue and pink icon, is rewarded with a piece of heart and up to 500 rupees. It's a tough challenge, but it's purely skill based, so I'm quite fine with it. It's a minigame that you need to play a few times to get your timing right, but once you do, it feels pretty good. It's quite comparable to a similar game in Twilight Princess, and I've got to say, I prefer that one a little bit more. Dodo's High Dive is fine for what it is, but I just don't find the same level of excitement as I do jumping with a Coco. I do think that the side quest to access this minigame is fantastic and packed with funny moments, but I'm not factoring that into this ranking. For those wondering, after you reach the Isle of Song, you find Dodo rather sad on his island, but after using Scrapper to get a wheel from the surface, the minigame becomes available. I will go into that in more detail when I discuss side quests in my next video. Little teaser. Most Zelda titles have a shooting minigame, and usually they're quite prominent and easily accessible. Not in Skyward Sword though. To access Pumpkin Pull, which is a minigame where you shoot arrows at pumpkins, you need to first complete a long side quest to get Fledge fit and strong. Once that's done, you need to head over to the training dojo, a place you'd never think to visit after the first 20 minutes of the game, to find your new fit buddy who offers this pumpkin pastime. Phew, it's a lot of work, but I think it's worth it. Fledge throws pumpkins from left to right at different speeds and trajectories, which you need to shoot with your bow and arrow. You get more points for consecutive hits, so you'll need to shoot pretty much every vegetable to earn a heart piece or rare treasure. You can cheese this minigame, which is okay I guess if you can't be bothered shooting and just want the heart piece, but I'd really recommend having a legitimate go first. The challenge seems quite fair, and it's a nice way to pass time between dungeons. The aesthetics of this challenge also feel quite in line with the rest of the game, and I really like how they didn't just default to a house full of targets. Still, I disagree with the decision to have the shooting gallery hidden behind a dull side quest and located in such an obscure, inconvenient location. With Legends Arceus, a lot of people were calling out Pokemon for copying Zelda, but with Skyward Sword, they have a straight up Pokemon minigame. In Bug Heaven, you are tasked with catching 5 or 10 bugs in a set time limit. Again, this one is harder than it sounds. Despite being confined to a small island, the insects are located in precarious places, so you need a keen eye to find them all in the allotted time. What I like about this game is that you get a real sense of accomplishment in finding all the bugs. The difficulty is very fair, where you need an efficient route to collect all the critters, but you have some leeway in time in case one's being a bit of a pain to catch. If you opt not to use a guide, it'll likely take a game or two to locate where each insect is and practice scooping them in your net. Despite Sturge hinting at bugs from early on, you'll have to wait until you've defeated Bylosite before being able to play this Pokemon spin-off. The reward for completing this minigame is just bugs, which is a little disappointing, but it can be helpful for the final few upgrades. Even though this is still a lot of fun to play and something I get excited about with each run through. I do wish that there was an even harder mode that had more insects, or a secondary version of this located on Skyloft. I think that they would have been quite amazing. Thunder Dragon's Lightning Round is as exciting as it sounds, with 2 epic challenges. The first has you facing off against any boss that you've previously fought, and the second has you replaying any of the Silent Realms. Staying with these scary adventures, they're synonymous with Skyward Sword, so it's fantastic that you have the chance to experience these again and again. You get rupees for completing them, but you can also earn rare treasures for beating each trial in a specific time. Like bug catching, it encourages you to find an efficient route, which is something I admire. On the other hand, the boss rush mode is a gauntlet where you need to fight each villain one after the other. Your health doesn't reset between battles, so it adds the extra challenge of defeating each boss whilst preserving your health as best you can. This minigame offers the best rewards in the game with a Hylian shield, a piece of heart, rare treasures, and a complete wallet refill, all on offer. There is a catch though. If you die at any point, you get no treasure. So you either need to beat them all or quit in between battles to claim a reward. It adds an intriguing element to the challenge. Both options are fantastic and a great way to really test your stealth and battling techniques. I'm always a big fan of the enemy gauntlet minigames, but there's something special about facing off against each boss one after the other. It can force you to play the fight safely, which can go against your natural approach. The only real downside is that this challenge is available quite late in the game, once you've completed Lanayru's part of the Song of Hero. It would have been cool to have the Hylian shield obtainable a little earlier in the game, but it's only a slight qualm. Throughout the series, you'll be hard pressed to find a minigame as exhilarating as Rickety Coaster. Here, you're in a minecart and you have to race through the track as fast as possible. With sharp turns, big drops, and huge leaps, there are moments where this roller coaster-like activity will have you on the edge of your seat as you push that fine line of going as fast as possible without falling off the track. This is by far the most enjoyable entry on this list, and I can happily play it for hours. I love the thrill of just making it around the corner at full speed, knowing you're this close to falling off. Even losing at this game doesn't feel too bad. I just love playing it. I really hope we have something similar in future Zelda titles. You first come across this track during the pre-quest of the Sand Ship, but once you've defeated Tantalus, you can come back to the shipyard and ride for as long as you like. The prizes aren't as good as the lightning round, but you can still get a piece of heart and some rare treasures for your time. But let's be real for a moment. This minigame is so good that I'd play it for a piece of fruit and a high five. But that's just my thoughts on Skyward Sword's minigames. What's yours? Be sure to let me know your favourite and least favourite down in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and share it with a friend. As I alluded to earlier, the next video will be on this game's side quest, so subscribe so you don't miss out on that or any future videos. If you're into collecting Zelda and Pokemon merch or want to see plushies get up to random shenanigans, then follow me on Instagram and TikTok. You can search Hungry Heracross or click the links in the description. But for now, I hope you stay safe, stay kind, and I'll see you next time on the Hungry Heracross.